Former U.S. Ambassador to Iraq and Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, Christopher Hill, joins us now by phone. He is also the author of Outpost, A Diplomat at Work, a memoir by Christopher Hill. Thank you, Ambassador, for joining us. Trump just tweeted Friday night, by the way, the president of Taiwan called me, all caps, called me today to wish me congratulations on winning the presidency. Thank you, is what he tweeted. So he is emphasizing that she called him. Does that make a difference?
No. Our policies there are guided by sort of two main elements. One's called the Taiwan Relations Act, and that is the basis on which the U.S. has been selling weapons to Taiwan for some 40 years. And this is something Beijing doesn't like, but they understand this is part of the deal. The second element, of course, is the One China policy, and that's the concept that we have only official relations with the mainland and not with Taiwan. And that's the issue that President-elect Trump today violated. So it is a departure from what Ronald Reagan did, from George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., Bill Clinton, Barack Obama. It's a departure from all of those presidents. And, of course, it's going to cause a major row with the Chinese. So one hopes that the Trump incoming administration will kind of lowball this and kind of suggests what it probably was, which was a mistake. But one worries that they are going to be saying something like that they're going to double down on it and say that they want to change the policy. And I can assure you that's not going to lead us anywhere. And in the meantime, we have a lot of issues with China, whether it's North Korea, trade issues, South China Sea, and we don't need a fourth issue like this.
Yeah, you've worked extensively with Asian countries throughout your career, Ambassador, and you just mentioned that this is going to cause a major row with the Chinese government. Can you get into more detail about that, how they may react to this?
Well, I think they'll have a very harsh statement, and I think the issue is how really the incoming administration will react to the Chinese harsh statement. And if there's a harsh reaction, then we can go tit for tat, and then before you know it, there'll be discussions of what we have to do to each other on trade issues, et cetera. And it's not a good way for the new administration to get going with China. You know, we have had a policy that has been shared by Republicans and Democrats alike of working with China. It is not easy to do, but there has been a consensus. This is the one area where our two political parties have managed to agree on something. And so one worries that this incoming president will then try to double down on what he's done. And in so doing, I don't think he's going to get a lot of support on the other side of the aisle here, and I know he's going to create more problems with China.
Now, President Obama's in the final weeks of his presidency. Do you think, though, that he might have to address this?
He already has. The White House put out a statement saying the U.S. remains in its conviction of the One China policy. So I think they will try to do that. But the real question is, you know, soon the Chinese and everyone else is going to be dealing with President Trump. And is he really trying to change policy? And if he is so doing this, is it really something we want to do kind of unilaterally without any kind of prior discussion with the Chinese, which apparently was what happened?
You know, I don't think that there's a lot of people that would argue that President-elect Trump has been a game changer from the very beginning, first day that he announced his candidacy for president. So I ask this with that in mind. Is the U.S. policy not recognizing Taiwan's government something that maybe needs to be looked at?
I don't think there are too many serious people who would agree with that statement, because we are talking about a country of 1.4 billion people. China is a worldwide power. It has enormous influence everywhere. And I think it's been the policy of the United States, shared by Democrats and Republicans alike, and I cannot emphasize enough the consensus that has gone on this, that we need a way forward to deal with the Chinese. So I don't think there's anyone who really is in the know who would have wanted to change this. Moreover, although there are problems between Taiwan and China, in fact, the recent elections in Taiwan kind of exacerbated some of those problems. These are issues that are not in sort of crisis mode. I mean, no one's making nuclear weapons. These are not, terrible, terrible issues of the kind we face with ISIS and other places. So the question is, why are we doing this now? And I think the answer is there was not enough consultation with the outgoing administration or, frankly, with other experts on the subject.
Well, we appreciate your context on this matter. Ambassador Chris Hill, thank you.
Thank you very much.